The tires of my old pickup crunched against the gravel as I turned onto the familiar drive of our family's Texas ranch, a sprawling 60 acres of sun-baked dirt, scrappy oaks, and a creek that wound through it like a lazy snake. I was back, not by choice, but because Mom's voice had cracked over the phone from the hospital, saying, "Jake, I can't handle your grandpa alone anymore." So I ditched my engineering gig in Austin, packed my life into a few boxes, and came back to the place I'd sworn I'd never get stuck in again. The whitewashed gates sagged, same as always, and the air smelled of mesquite and memories equal parts home and heartache. Grandpa Walt, a Korean War vet with a tongue sharper than barbed wire, was out in his rabbit shed when I pulled up, whistling some old military tune and tossing pellets to his furry brigade. He had a dozen rabbits, maybe more, each with a name and a personality he swore kept him sane. Zen time, he called it, though I suspected it was more about keeping folks guessing. The man collected war relics, told stories that could make a coyote blush, and had a grin that said he'd outsmarted life itself. He gave me a grunt and a nod, his version of welcome home, and I grabbed a shovel to get to work. The ranch was a mess, but it was honest. The barn leaned like it was drunk, the east fence was a patchwork of wire and prayers, and the porch swing creaked like it remembered me as a kid. I spent the first few days fixing what I could. The porch, the well pump, the chicken coop's wiring. Hammer in hand, cicadas buzzing, I felt alive in a way cubicles and coffee machines never allowed. But the quiet didn't last. A week in, I checked the mailbox and found a letter that reeked of troubly, a gold-sealed envelope from the Crest VY EW Heights Homeowners Association. Our land butted up against their fancy development, but we'd never been part of it. The letter demanded our fences and buildings meet their architectural standards. I laughed, showed it to Walt, who snorted and said, "Looks like the vultures are circling." I fired back a polite response, typed on clean paper, and mailed in their own envelope for kicks. "This is private agricultural land, not under Crest VY EW Heights jurisdiction. Your claims have no legal basis. Respectfully, Jake Harper, property owner." Walt taped it to the rabbit shed like a trophy. But the HOA wasn't done. Days later, another letter arrived, thicker, on cardstock that screamed insecurity. It targeted Walt's rabbits, demanding licenses and approvals for livestock structures. Walt read it, his eyebrows climbing, and muttered, "These folks think they own the planet?" We didn't reply. Silence felt louder. Then, one Thursday while I was patching the north fence, a Lexus SUV rolled down our drive-in VY Ted. Unwelcome. Out stepped Lisa Carver, Crest VY EW Heights HOA president, all designer sunglasses and a blazer that cost more than my truck. Her haircut looked like it could cut glass. "Mr. Harper?" she asked, her voice syrupy but sharp. I dusted my hands. "That's me." She launched into a spiel about our rabbit hutches VY OLADing Section 14, non-standard agricultural use. I laughed. "Lady, this ranch was here before your neighborhood had a name. Walt's had rabbits longer than you've had rules." Walt appeared, hay bale in hand, and added, "If you want standards, go live in a museum." Lisa's smile tightened. "This is your final warning. Comply, or we escalate." Walt just grinned. "Bring snack for the bunnies, darling." The real chaos hit on a Monday. I was clearing brush by the creek when I heard tires crunching from the west where no one should have been. A white SUV with a glaring Crest VY EW Heights decal barreled down an old dirt path. No permission, no notice. It was a patrol vehicle, all chrome and fake authority, and it rolled right into our pasture. By the time I reached it, the SUV was stuck, its back tires sinking into the muddy slope. The driver, a guy in wraparound shades and a security vest, stepped out like he owned the place. "Just checking compliance," he said. I crossed my arms. "You're trespassing on private property." He shrugged, claiming buffer zone rights, but before he could finish, the ground gave way. The SUV sank deeper, tilting like a bad joke. He tried to drive out, spraying mud everywhere, then gave up. "I'll get help," he said, and walked off, Leah VYing the vehicle without a note or a call. It sat there, glinting in the sun, a shiny intruder in our pasture. Day 2, still there. Day 3, dew on its windshield, clay on its sides. Walt squinted at it over coffee. If it's going to live here rent-free, it's got to earn its keep. An hour later, he was dragging out a folding ramp, eyeing the SUV like a man with a plan. "You're not serious," I said. He opened the back hatch. "It's a rabbit palace now, son. Upcycling." Before I could argue, he'd gutted the back seats, lined it with hay, zip-tied water bottles to the ceiling, and rigged a fan to a solar panel. Then came the rabbits. Daisy, Patches, Colonel Buck, and Lady Velvet, hopping in like they'd booked a suite. Walt hung a sign from the rear VYEW mirror, HOA, Home of Adorable Animals. I stood there, half laughing, half stunned, as the rabbits settled in. I snapped a photo Lady Velvet lounging, sign front and center and posted it online with the caption, "They left it. We housed it." By dusk, it was VY-RAL. Likes, shares, memes. Someone drew Colonel Buck in a VY-8ers, issuing cuteness citations. A guy offered to make t-shirts. The SUV wasn't just a car in a Maria, it was a rebellion. Lisa returned, furious, with 2 HOA lackeys in windbreakers, one clutching a clipboard, the other a measuring tape. She stared at Lady Velvet napping in the hay and hissed, "You turned our patrol vehicle into a rabbit hutch?" Walt shrugged. "You left it. We adapted." I cut in, "It's been here 72 hours, no contact. That's abandonment in Texas." Lisa snapped photos, threatened to call the police, and stormed off. Walt whistled. "That's going to stir the hornet's nest." The next day, 2 sheriff's cruisers rolled in, no sirens, just steady authority. Deputy Hank Riley, a grizzled guy who'd seen it all, stepped out. "You Jake Harper? Heard about the Rabbit Mobile." I gestured to the SUV. "It's right there. We just gave it purpose." Walt handed over a thumb drive with security footage. The SUV trespassing, getting stuck, the driver bailing. Riley walked the scene, took notes, and confirmed it was abandoned under Texas law. "You documented it. That's in your favor." Then Lisa arrived, arms flailing, demanding we be charged with theft and animal cruelty. Riley glanced at the rabbit scum. Healthy and said dryly, "Better ventilated than county lockup." Lisa's jaw clenched. Riley shut his notebook. "Unless you've got proof it wasn't abandoned, ma'am, there's nothing to do here." She left, fuming, as Lady Velvet sneezed through the window like she'd won. The story exploded. My post hit Reddit, TikTok, Facebook. Memes flooded in. Lady Velvet ticketing garden gnomes, HOA bunny patrol captions. Reporters showed up. Walt fed carrots to Colonel Buck on live TV, saying they parked it. We upgraded it. Neighbors emailed, sharing their own Crest VYEW Heights horror stories. Fines for birdhouses, threats over gardens. It wasn't just about us, Anna Maria, it was a pattern of HOA bullying. Our lawyer, Sarah Tate, a woman who could dismantle arguments with a smile, took the case. She found the HOA's annexation letters were a bluff. Our land was never under their control. She filed a suit, trespass, harassment, defamation, even emotional distress for us and the rabbits. Lisa fought back, filing a CIVYL complaint claiming we desecrated their property. Sarah countered with footage, witness statements, and proof the HOA had no jurisdiction. In court, she laid it out like a storybook: the trespass, the abandonment, the intimidation. Lisa's lawyer floundered, blaming clerical errors. The judge wasn't buying it. He ruled for us. Dulaw $45,000 in damages, a ban on HOA patrols outside their boundaries, and a reprimand for Lisa, suspending her from a board. She sat frozen, like reality had slapped her. Walt whispered, "Clean kill." The SUV stayed. We added a ramp, an awning, a solar battery for a fan and heat lamp. We painted Operation Freedom over the HOA logo, turning it into a rabbit haven and a symbol. Tourists stopped by. Kids left carrots. Someone mailed sunglasses for Colonel Buck. The story went national NBC, Vice, a documentary pitch. Lisa ran for HOA re-election and lost, buried under stickers of Lady Velvet with the slogan, "I'd rather be governed by a rabbit." Life settled. Walt seemed younger, whittling by the SUV as Colonel Buck napped. One evening, on the porch with sweet tea, the sun painting the field gold, Walt nodded at the rabbit mobile. If they leave another, I'll build a second floor. I laughed, raised my glass. To bunnies, bad ideas, and owning your land. He clinked his, and never backing down from clipboard tyrants. The rabbits rustled, the wind sighed, and everything felt right. So what do you think? Was Walt a genius or just plain crazy? Should HOAs have any power over private land? Or are they just bullies and blazers? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe for more wild stories. Let's hear your take. Whose side are you on?